Hello guys, welcome to my channel How to Learn. In this video, I want to explain you about JVM architecture. It is one of the important concepts in Java guys. First of all, what is JVM? JVM means Java Virtual Machine, okay? And it will load, verify and executes the Java bytecode. And it is also known as interpreter or core of the Java programming language because it will execute Java programs, okay? And before going to the JVM architecture explanation, first of all I will show you the basic steps of execution of a Java program. Okay, first a developer will write source code and he will send it to compiler whether he want to see like if there are any errors in his code or not. If the code is compiled successfully, then it will generate a doc class file which contains the bytecode. Okay, after compilation he will send it to interpreter, and what it will do means it will execute the code and it will generate the machine code. Okay, I think now you guys can understand how the basic Java execution process happens. Now I will start explaining the JVM architecture. If you observe here, there are many components in the JVM architecture. Okay, and now I will explain you one by one guys. And here if you observe, we have class loader. Okay, and the responsibility for the class loader is loading the class files. Okay, and it is known as runtime data area. The main purpose of the runtime data area is memory allocation, and it is execution engine, and what it will do means it will execute the Java code. Now I will explain you every component in detail. Let's start it with class loader. In class loader, we have three phases guys: loading, linking and initialization. Okay, in loaders, we have three types of class loaders: bootstrap class loader, extension class loader and application class loader. Okay, now I will start with explaining this class loader. What this bootstrap class loader will do means it loads pre-trusted system class files to runtime memory area. Those files are from rt.jar in directory under Java installation. Okay, it will be happen like this. First of all, initially we have some class files in the rt.jar, and what this bootstrap class loader will do means it will send it to runtime memory. Okay, and now let's go with the extension class loader. What it will do means it loads pre-compiled classes from JRE library extension directory. Means normally in our projects we'll add some third-party jar files, right? It will load, the role of this extension class loader is to load the third-party jar files into the memory. Okay, it will be like this guys. Normally we have some external jar files in this part, and our extension class loader will load it into the memory area. Okay, and now let's go with the application class loader. What it will do means normally, first of all, before executing, we will compile the classes, right? The compiled classes will be loaded by application class loader into the memory. Okay, and the process will be like this. The application class loader loads compiled class into our memory area. I think we are finished with this loading phase. Now the pending one is a linking phase. Okay, now let's start with that. In linking, we have three phases: verify, prepare and resolve. Once the dot class files are loaded into the memory, there is a verify phase where bytecode class files are verified whether they meet Java standards or not. Suppose I have a dot class file. Assume like I have a dot class file A from which is generated from class A. Okay, let's assume like it did not meet Java standards. What this verifier will do means it will throw a java.lang.verify error. Means whenever we got this java.lang.verify error, we want to confirm that, means we want to think like we are not following this Java standards. Okay, and the prepare phase. In this phase, all the static variables are assigned with default values. And the resolve. In this part, all symbolic references are replaced with actual references. Okay, we are done with the loading and linking, and we are pending with the initialization. In this initialization phase, what will be done means all the static variables are assigned with the actual values. Normally, in loading phase, all the static variables are assigned with the default values. Here they will assign with the actual values, and this initialization block will also execute static initializers at the point of time. Okay, and we are done with the class loader area, guys. Now let's start with this runtime data area. In runtime data area, we have method area. In method area, we have all class level information like class name, parent name, I mean like immediate parent class name, methods and variable information. Okay, suppose here we have this static int a equal to 0. Sorry for the mistake, guys. Here it should be small s. Okay, and what it will do means this method area will load these variables into the runtime data area, and what this heap area will do means all the objects and the instance variables stored in the memory area when it's come to this heap area. Okay, and we are pending with stack memory. This stack memory contains three parts. First of all, how I can say means local variable area. In what it will do means it will store all the local variables into the stack memory area. And operand stack, it contains all the operands that are used within a method. Frame data, this contains any cache block information in case of any exceptions occurs within this method. Okay, normally we'll get exceptions right in our Java programs. That exception like we'll handle that exception through the cache blocks. That all information will be stored in this frame data. Okay, and we have another two things, guys: PC registers and native method stacks. This PC register, what it will do means this memory area holds the current execution instructions. Means normally while we are executing a program, it will be, as we know, interpreter will do it by line, so it will hold the current executing instruction. Okay, and native method stack, it will hold the native method information. And now we are done with runtime data area and class loader area, and the pending one is execution engine. In this execution engine, we have three parts: interpreter, garbage collection, and JID compiler. And again in JID compiler, we have different components. Okay, like profiler, intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and target code generator. Now I will start with explaining this interpreter. Okay, what it will do means this interpreter is like it reads the doc class files and executes the instructions one by one. But there is a issue with this interpreter, guys. Normally, suppose in our Java classes we have several methods. Like suppose assume like I have a method demo. Suppose if it is called multiple times, then every time the method is called, it will read that instruction and again. That will lead to performance degradation. For solving that, we introduce like Java introduce JID compiler. Okay, now I will explain you how JID compiler will resolve the issue. Okay, JID compiler, it will help in overcoming the problem of the interpreter. When repeated method calls occur, JID compiler compiles the bytecode to native code. Okay, this native code will be used directly for the repeated method calls. JID compiler contains few components to achieve this feature, that are intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and target code generator and profiler. This intermediate code generator will generate the intermediate code, and the code optimizer will optimize this intermediate code for the better performance, and the target code generator will convert the optimized intermediate code to native machine code. And the profiler, it is the one of the important component in this JID compiler, because it is responsible for the finding hotspots. Hotspots in the sense like the methods which are called repeatedly. Okay, and it's come to garbage collector. Garbage collector is responsible for destroying objects that are no longer used. And we have another two things: Java native method interface and native method libraries. Java native method interface is a part of JDK that connects and Java code with native method applications and libraries. Native method libraries. These libraries are written in programming languages such as C, C++, and assembly. These libraries are loaded through JNI. Okay. Now I think so you got some overview, like now you got some idea about how the JVM architecture works and what are the important components. Now I will give you some quick overview in some 1 minute. Okay. First of all, we have the class loader, guys. In class loader, we have three phases: loading, linking, initialization. In loading, we have bootstrap class loader, extension class loader, application class loader. In linking, we have verify, prepare and resolve phases. In initialization, we have the initialization only. And if it's come to runtime data area, we have 5 parts, which is class area. I can say like method area, guys. Sorry. It is method area which contains class level data, and heap area which contains objects, data and instance variables also. If it's come to stack area, it contains local variable information and open stack. If it's come to PC register, it contains current execution instruction. Okay, and the native method stack, it contains native method information. And if it's come to the execution engine, in execution engine we have 3 parts: interpreter, JID compiler and garbage collector. And here we have another 2 things: native method interface and native method libraries. And as we have already discussed, I'm not going to discuss about these 2 components more. Okay, I think so now you guys got some clear idea about this JVM architecture. If you have any queries, please comment it in comment section. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe my channel.